But I will start with the historical background, and you can see my map if I get it up here, you know. I will start 1858. 1858 was a year of great technological advancement in the West. That was the year when Queen Victoria was able for the first time to communicate with President Buchanan through the transatlantic telegraphic cable, and they were the first to Twitter transatlantically. And I've been able, through this wonderful Google and internet, to find the text of the telegram sent back from President Buchanan to Queen Victoria, and it ends like this. This telegraph is a fantastic instrument to diffuse religion, civilization, liberty and law throughout the world. Those are nice words. But I got sort of curious of what he meant with liberty, and liberty for who. And we will think about that when we look at the wider picture of the world in 1858, because 1858 was also a watershed year in the history of Asia. 1858 was the year when the courageous uprising against the foreign occupation of India was defeated by the British forces. And India was up to 89 years more of foreign domination. 1858 in China was the victory in the Opium War by the British forces. And that meant that foreigners, as it said in the treaty, was allowed to trade freely in China. It meant paying with opium for Chinese goods. And 1858 in Japan was the year when Japan had to sign the Harris Treaty and accept trade on favorable condition for the US. And they were threatened by those black ships there that had been in Tokyo Harbor over the last year. But Japan, in contrast to India and China, maintained its national sovereignty. And let's see how much difference that can make. And I will do that by bringing these bubbles back to a Gapminder graph here, where you can see each bubble is a country. The size of the bubble here is the population. On this axis, as I used to have, income per person in comparable dollar. And on that axis, I have life expectancy, the health of people. And I also bring an innovation here. I have transformed the laser beam into an ecological, recyclable version here in green India. And we will see, you know, look here, 1858, India was here, China was here, Japan was there, United States and United Kingdom was richer over there, and I will start the world like this. India was not always like this level. Actually, if we go back into the historical record, there was a time hundreds of years ago when the income per person in India, China was even above that of Europe. But 1850 had already been many, many years of foreign domination, and India had been deindustrialized. And you can see that the countries who were growing their economy was United States and United Kingdom, and they were also by the end of the century getting healthy. And Japan was starting to catch up. India was trying down here. Can you see how it starts to move there? But really, national sovereignty was good for Japan, and Japan is trying to move up there. And at the new century, you know, health is getting better, United Kingdom, United States, but careful now, we are approaching the First World War, and the First World War, you know, will see a lot of deaths and economical problem here. United Kingdom is going down, and now comes the Spanish flu also, and then after the First World War, they continue up, still under foreign domination and without sovereignty. India and China is down in the corner. Not much has happened. They have grown their population, but not much more. In the 1930s now, you can see that Japan is going to a period of war with lower life expectancy, and the Second World War was really a terrible event, also economically for Japan, but they did recover quite fast afterwards, and we are moving into the new world. And 1947, India finally gained its independence, and they could raise the Indian flag and become a sovereign nation, but in very big difficulties down there. And in 1949, we saw the emergence of the modern China. in a way which surprised the world. And what happens? What happens after independence? You can see that the health started to improve. Children started to go to school. Health services were provided. But the economy this was a great leap forward when China fell down. It was central planning by Mao Zedong. China recovered and they said never more stupid central planning. But they went up here and India was trying to follow, and they were catching up indeed. And both countries had the better health but still a very low economy. And we came to 1978 and Mao Zedong died and a new guy turned up from the left, and it was Deng Xiaoping coming out here, and he said, doesn't matter if a cat is white or black as long as it catches mice, because catching mice is what the two cats wanted to do. And you can see the two cats being here, China and India, wanting to catch the mice over there, you know. And they decided to go not only for health and education, but also starting to grow their economy. And the market reform was successful there. In 92, India follows with the market reform. And they go quite closely together. And you can see that the similarity with India and China in many ways are greater than the differences with them. And here they march on. And will they catch up? This is the big question today. There they are today. Now, what does it mean that the average is there? This is the average of China. If I would split China, look here. Shanghai has already caught up. Shanghai is already there. And it's healthier than the United States. Huh? But on the other hand, Guizhou, one of the poorest inland provinces of China, is there. And if I split Guizhou into urban and rural, the rural part of Guizhou goes down there. You see this enormous inequity in China in the midst of fast economic growth.